Again, hello and welcome to session 4 of our QuickBooks Bootcamp. This is the last session of our 4-part series, but please stay tuned and be on the lookout for our next webinars that we will be launching as part of the SingerLewak Academy. As you know, I've been touching on it and talking about it in the last session. We are planning on putting together a summer school program as well as possibly a back to school program with information as we continue to provide you business owners with general accounting and business knowledge that we feel would be helpful to you. So let's go ahead and get started on part 4. Today we are focusing on artificial intelligence and cloud computing. I am very excited today and tickled pink that we have 3 panelists from the top innovative companies in the cloud accounting space. So we have seen a major evolution in this area the past few years. We are hoping that today we can provide you with information that could help you as a business owner be aware of the opportunities that are at your fingertips. There is a vast amount of key data that you could gain from having the right accounting infrastructure, the right people in your accounting department, everything customized to your business needs. There's so much information that you can leverage to help you guide your enterprise to meet the goals that you have set. So if we can go to the second slide, and we can go through who the panelists are today. So this is a QBO bootcamp, so no QBO bootcamp is not complete without having Kim Austin from Intuit. She will be presenting today. We also have Lena Johansson from Fathom, which is a dashboard and reporting application. Our last session, we focused on accounting reporting, KPIs, data analysis. So we talked about that. So I did touch on Fathom then. So again, they are a reporting solution that can help, that will connect to your QBO application, and you could really take advantage of having a system that will analyze your accounting database and give you some strong insight into the performance of your business. Super excited to have her here today. Last, we have Lindsay Wheeler from Billcom. This is where we will give you some insight on how you can streamline and make your accounting system more efficient. We did touch on that in the first few sessions of the QBO Bootcamp. We focused on streamlining, internal controls, having a scalable system in place that could scale with your growth and your needs. And we are huge fans of Bill.com, and it can address a lot of these areas in terms of internal control, streamlining, efficiency, having the information all in one place. So we do have Lindsay Wheeler from Bill.com. So we will go ahead and jump into that in a moment. I do want to remind you that if you have any questions during this entire session, there is a Q&A section where and we are monitoring it, so please feel free to put in your questions there. We probably will address them in this session. If we cannot, then somebody will reach out to you to make sure that your questions are addressed. Also, we are offering CPE with these sessions. So with that, we do have our first polling question. So if we could go ahead and bring up that first poll. What version of QuickBooks Online do you use? Simple Start, Essentials Plus, Advanced, I'm using QuickBooks Desktop, or I am not sure. So go ahead and I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer that. All right, I think hopefully you've had a chance to look at that. Let's go ahead and get started. Again, without further ado, we have Kim Austin from Intuit. So take it away, Kim.
All right, thank you so much for having me. And I'm just going to go ahead and launch my slides. And we'll get started. So I'm here obviously probably stating the obvious to talk a little bit about QuickBooks Online, but really more focusing on kind of the direction that QBO is going as far as Intuit strategy, our investments and things like that. So I won't spend too much time on hopefully kind of reviewing what you might already know, but we'll just cover it just to make sure we're all on the same page. Just to introduce myself, I'm the National Business Development Manager for Intuit. What that means is that I am a dedicated resource to our top firms like SingerLewak. So basically, when we identify firms that are what we call firms of the future, and we know that they're investing in our products in order to help serve their clients like you, we basically meet them and provide a dedicated team. I call it my little army that stands behind myself and really is there to ensure that not only do we show up for them as a partner, but really ultimately for their clients. So it's something that I love to highlight about just the privilege that I have of working with some of our top tier partners, because when you sign up to work with a firm like SingerLewak, you're not just getting a regular average accountant, you're actually getting a team that has kind of a fast pass directly to some of our top resources. So you're in great hands, and we always make sure that that they're there for you and that we're there for them. So we're just going to take a few minutes and cover basically small business in the cloud. And again, most of this should just sort of be putting an exclamation point on things that you already know, as I know many of you are already leveraging QuickBooks Online. But some of the top reasons why a firm that's really being more to a client than just doing tax work or doing compliance, but really trying to be a trusted advisor and guide you in a direction that's going to be better for your business and be able to help you make smarter decisions to be able to grow and ultimately to be able to allow you to focus on your business and what you do best, not having to worry about the accounting. These are all some of the factors that we've seen that not only help them work with you, but ultimately, again, have you better able to focus on growing your business. I'll go ahead and move forward just so that we have some time to focus on the meatier part of this. But just again, some of the cloud benefits, we're going to show you in just a moment, just a snippet of some of the recent innovations that we've made. But just to highlight a few things, the anywhere, anytime access, if anybody hasn't obviously figured out that anywhere, anytime access in the last year can be so mission critical. Obviously, we've all been through that. Device agnostic between Macs and PCs and phones and tablets. It's so nice to know that whatever you're using, your accountant can be using what they want, and you can use what you want to serve the same purpose. Not having to deal with the headaches of installing software, updating software, buying new software. Everybody's always on the latest version, and you get advantage of the updates that we run that I'll show you in just a moment. And then from a backup and redundancy perspective, you're not having to deal with offsite storage. You're not having to deal with backups. We handle all of that for you should there be a natural disaster or some need to be able to go back and find an archived version. With that, I think it's important to just note the differences. So for many of you, you might be on QuickBooks Online now and had previously worked with desktop, and you can actually kind of see that mindset. But the way I like to look at it is obviously the work changes, but it's because QuickBooks Online is a forward thinking product that allows you to be live in your books today and make smart decisions along with your accountants to better serve your business, to better serve your customers. And it allows you to focus on growing your business, by making decisions going forward. The downside of desktop accounting was that it was all after the fact. So it was basically, here's a snapshot in time, and anything that happens after that point was always kind of outdated. And so what I love about the shift to the cloud is we're all able to access this real time data, and we're no longer reading yesterday's newspaper. We're in the moment, and we're able to make those fast decisions that help us keep up with what matters most. I love just using bank feeds as an example of this. In the old world, we had to, download a report or a statement or a Excel or CSV from a bank, and then we had to import it manually, and then you had to go through, and you couldn't even begin your reconciliation until you did all those manual pieces. just by using one simple tool like the bank feeds, it allows you to kind of set it and forget about it. It reduces the errors, it reduces the manual data entry, it reduces all of those kind of barriers to just keeping your account up to date all the time. Obviously making reconciliation a much faster process, being able to just always know that you've got the data accurate at whatever time it is, as opposed to having to go jump through a bunch of hoops until you get it that way. So I just love using that example. Obviously bank feeds is just one little piece of the automation and AI involved with QBO, but it's such a valuable piece.
Hey, Kim, we have a couple of really good questions. Do you mind?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, the first one is online, and in capital letters, really secure?
That is a great question. So I can tell you that Intuit takes security extremely seriously. For many of you, you know that we also have a completely separate division other than QuickBooks, which is our TurboTax, which means that we are dealing with a huge number of social security numbers, dealing with the IRS, dealing with banks, all of those pieces in our separate division over there with our consumer tax products. So the answer is yes. One incident of a data breach from Intuit would be so detrimental to our organization that I can tell you we have, bank level encryption and security measures in place. You can read about more of that, and I can definitely send SingerLewak some follow-up information about our security protocol, our privacy, and all of the measures that we put in place to be able to ensure that we can say, yes, your data is secure with Intuit.
Okay, great. Second question we have here, can I access QuickBooks Online if I'm on a Mac?
Yes, love that. That goes back to that slide as far as device agnostic. And yes, absolutely. What I love about it is you can be on a Mac, Jamie can be on a PC, somebody else can be on an iPhone, somebody else can be on a Droid. It's completely device agnostic. All you need is a secure internet connection. I often use my phone hotspot, and that allows me to access the data from either a phone, a tablet, or a computer. Great question.
Great. And can we change that Jamie is accessing it from her iPod on the beach?
There you go. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Heated,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. Selfish needs. Back to questions. This is an interesting one because we've gotten this question a few times from clients. They're using online. Can they get a backup of the file if they need to send it for audit purposes? Because I know the IRS sometimes will request this.
Yes, so there's a few different ways that you can handle that. One, you can set up basically a view only user. So you can set a user that would basically only be able to pull reports and provide that. Now, I don't recommend that because the one thing that QuickBooks Online doesn't allow you to do that Desktop did would be to create like a period where if an auditor needs a certain date range, you can't restrict access to a specific date range. What we typically recommend for an audit purpose would be to actually do an export of the QuickBooks Online file to a desktop version, and then cut that desktop version to a period copy and hand that to an auditor, because it just allows them to only see what you want them to see. They're not live in the books, and you don't have to worry about them poking around in areas that you wouldn't necessarily want them having access. But that's a great question. And
Yes,
we do know that quite a bit.
One more here that's very good also. Can I have different levels of users in QuickBooks Online?
Yes. So again, great question. Yes, we can have different levels of users. Now, I will tell you, if you're used to using QuickBooks Online QuickBooks Enterprise Edition, then the user permissions are more granular in Enterprise. If you look at more Pro or Premier, then QuickBooks Online would be a bit more like that. Different service levels of QBO do allow for different permission levels. So our advanced service level does offer a bit more permissions, but I'm actually going to get to something later on when we talk about apps and the ecosystem that potentially even is better than just different user permissions, because it allows you to have different users in your organization that don't necessarily need access to the GL, potentially working in a third-party system that just talks to QuickBooks Online. So we'll cover that. That'll be kind of bonus for you on that question.
Okay, great. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay, terrific. So I don't want to go into detail because we actually could do a 60-minute webinar just on the QBO updates themselves. But what I wanted to show you is just, this is the last quarter itself. So these are the updates that have been made to QuickBooks Online just in the last 3 months. And what I love about it is, unlike QuickBooks Desktop, when you buy one version and then you use it until you buy a new one, with QuickBooks Online, you're always on the latest version. So as we roll out these features and functionality updates, you get to take advantage of them right away, which is really exciting because you're not stuck on some old version. I compare it to when you buy a cell phone and then right after you buy your phone, they come out with a new model and you're stuck on your old one for 2 years until you actually upgrade. With QuickBooks Online, you're always on that latest version with all of the new features. And then as we go forward even more, we also have a big piece of the QuickBooks Online platform, which is our ecosystem. And so in addition to just updates to QuickBooks Online, we have updates that we roll out approximately once a month. We do about 10 upgrades a year, or updates a year, excuse me. And so we also update our third-party and ecosystem products like our payroll in this case, and then we also have some updates coming to our payment solution. So pivoting a little bit to kind of a go forward and just letting you know a window into Intuit's mindset, our strategy where we stand right now is to get to that point of zero data entry, right? Every time we have manual data entry, you've got obviously the time that it takes to do so. You also have the risk of manual error. So anything we can do to avoid that manual data entry is what we're focusing on. With that, we're partnering with third-party providers, financial institutions, and mega platforms to do everything we can to automate things that previously were manual processes. The example I'll call out is we've just released a feature in QuickBooks Online called Statement Auto Import. What that's basically going to do is it's going to, every time your bank generates a statement, QuickBooks Online is going to be pre-authenticated with your bank to go out, pull that statement, automatically fetch it and attach it to your reconciliation screen within QuickBooks Online. So whether you're doing it or your accountant is doing it, they're going to have access to be able to grab that statement right there, paper clipped with a little icon in your reconciliation, just to save you the step of having to go log into your bank, having to download something, having to then import it yourself. It's a great example of the automation that we're trying to leverage with technology. And then finally, we're using a huge investment in data scientists, AI, to really provide the best possible insights. We're going to talk about this with tools like Fathom next, where it's giving the insight to the accountants that you're working with so that they can have obviously their own insight and knowledge from their experience as accountants, but also the technology that we're providing to them. So we're basically taking educated individuals, giving them top of the line tools to be able to produce the best possible outcome for you and your business. The QuickBooks Online and apps ecosystem is a crucial element of why QBO is the future. And if you think about it, in the old world, QuickBooks would have just been the center, and anything that you needed to do within QuickBooks would have to be kind of built right into it. In today's world, we've expanded that to be able to basically create a custom solution for any small business. Obviously, no small businesses are alike. So we want to make sure that you can create the best solution for your business without having to deal with a bunch of extra things that you don't really need to use, which means you don't have to pay for features that you're not going to be leveraging. You can see the model here. We have our QuickBooks Online in this case at the core, which is kind of your GL at the core of your business. And then we have both internal Intuit solutions, payments, payroll, capital, time tracking with QB Time. And then we also have third-party apps that we partner with like Fathom and Bill.com to create those integrated end-to-end solutions based on whatever your specific needs are. And these are just some of the reasons why apps are very important and crucial to being able to leverage the technology available. As I mentioned earlier, there's a sort of a trick that if you are trying to limit access by employees, the one thing that I love being able to do with apps is to allow those tasks to be managed outside of the books. Inventory is an example, because a lot of times you might have a warehouse team, and if you were dealing with inventory just in QuickBooks or QuickBooks Online, then you would then have to give your inventory or your warehouse staff access to your GL. Not necessarily the best as far as security goes. So in the case of using a third-party tool for inventory, you can actually give your warehouse team just that inventory app access, and the data will flow directly into QuickBooks Online without those users having to access the books themselves. It's a great example of where kind of division of duties can be, or separation of duties can be important. And as I round third and head home, I just love to always point out that we have a ton of extra resources. Obviously, SingerLewak has amazing resources as well, such as this bootcamp that they've been putting on, and I'm so proud to be a part of that. But if you're ever looking for additional information, we have some free resources that I have here on the screen, and I'll make sure that SingerLewak can share these with you afterwards. Our QuickBooks Online blog is always a great resource. There's a lot of updates as we're rolling out new features and functionality that you'll always be the first to find out. So if you have any questions, please feel free to add those in the Q&A, and otherwise I'll be on for the rest of the time to be able to help answer those in the background. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. Really appreciate that. Some excellent information. We do have a couple questions, but we do want to next hear from Lena from Fathom. So take it away, Lena.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I did just get a notification that my internet might be a little bit unstable. So if I turn my camera off, I just want to give notice that that's what's going on. Hopefully we don't run into that again, but things happen sometimes, especially when we're working from home still.
No problem.
But thank you all. Thank you all for joining us today. So I'm going to be talking about Fathom, which is an analytics and reporting tool, which can help you gain business insights through your accounting data that you've already done, especially through QuickBooks. So a quick introduction of me. My name is Lena, and I'm a customer engagement specialist at Fathom, and my job is to help trialists through the evaluation process to see if Fathom is going to be the right fit for them. So I've actually only been here for about a year, but during that time, I've been able to see the product really expand and grow, which has been a really awesome opportunity. And I'm really excited about where they're headed with the product and what we've been able to accomplish in even that short amount of time. So I'm going to start by giving a brief overview of what Fathom is, and then we'll dive into how it works and kind of the different elements of it, and especially how they play together to help you with any of your reporting needs. So Fathom is a cloud-based visual analysis and reporting tool, and we turn accounting data into business intelligence using online analysis tools and beautiful management reports. We also just launched our forecasting tool, which is really exciting. It took about 2 years to develop. So we put a lot of time and effort into that to make sure that it really meets the needs of the clients who are going to be using it, and not just what we thought could be important to them. Fathom focuses on efficiency and automation to do the analytical heavy lifting so you can focus on business decision making. Specifically, we focus on key performance indicators and visualizations to help businesses understand their financial performance. For immediate insights, Fathom comes with a default set of KPIs to track and default reporting templates, but those are also super customizable. So you can start with something that we've kind of laid out for you, but make it more specific to what you're looking for, and really decide what you want to get out of the product. And Fathom was really created to help facilitate conversations around financial data with those easy visuals and graphs. So maybe if you aren't necessarily the person that's doing all of the work with those financials or in that accounting software all the time, but you want to see how your business is doing, Fathom is a really great tool for that. So how does it actually work? Fathom connects directly with QuickBooks, both online and desktop, as well as Xero and Excel. If you are using one of the cloud-based softwares, such as QuickBooks Online, your data will automatically update within Fathom every day. So we basically just copy what you have within your QuickBooks account into Fathom so that you don't have to worry about that connection. You can also bring in classes and divisions from QuickBooks to be able to drill down into those areas as well. But other than that, we pretty much just look at your chart of accounts and not any of the transactional data. But if you do have a budget within QuickBooks, you can bring that over into Fathom as well. So you can look at your actuals versus your projections versus your budget if that is important. So now we're going to jump into the features that we offer within Fathom, and we will wrap it up with viewing one of our reports or reporting templates, depending. So first of all, we have our KPIs, and this is typically where we would recommend starting, is choosing what you really want to drill down into and what's interesting to you or important to you and your business. So we have over 50 default KPIs already created within Fathom, but they're pretty general. And so we know that you're going to want more specific KPIs that are really going to help you and your business. So you can create additional ones within Fathom. We have non-financial KPIs, which are kind of like a bucket where you can bring in outside information that might not be in QuickBooks, or maybe information that is in QuickBooks that we don't automatically pull over to create that non-financial KPI. So we see things such as website visits or number of employees being put in there. And then we also have our formula KPIs where you can create a custom formula using any of those non-financial KPIs, other formula KPIs, or any of your accounts on the chart of accounts. You're also able to set the importance of those KPIs and group them together. So as we can see over here, we have them grouped in different sections. And you can also set the importance. So if you have ones that are really, really important to you, and you know that that's something that you need to keep a really close eye on, you can also set targets and alerts for those within the system. So you can see how they're performing at just kind of a glance. There are a bunch of different ways that you can see these KPIs within Fathom. So this is one of our KPI Explorer tools, and this allows you to sort by importance or category so that you can take a glance and see what's in red, what's in green. But we also have a dashboard screen which drills down a little bit more, and you can add both of those into any of our reports, as well as tables, charts, graphs, commentary, things of that nature. So moving on to forecasting, as I mentioned, forecasting was recently released, and we do use a three-way forecast. So we have our profit and loss, balance sheet, as well as the cash flow statement. As you can see up here, most of the work that you'll do will be on the profit and loss. That's where you'll create different value rules. So for example, you could use one of our smart prediction, which is going to be either a linear regression or a rolling average. We didn't want anything within the system to be kind of a black box. You're going to know exactly how all of this is calculated, even if we do it for you. But you can also create your own not KPIs, but your own formulas if you know how you think that things should be moving forward. So with those formulas, you're also able to include drivers. So this is going to be some sort of outside information that you need for a formula, such as headcount, salary, things of that nature. And once you've got that main grid all set up, you're able to create what we call micro forecasts. And these are going to be different business decisions that you're thinking of doing in the future, such as hiring an employee or taking out a loan. And so you're able to model those and then group them together. So say you're trying to create an entirely new division of your business, you could create different micro forecasts for hiring an employee, purchasing a new truck, and then you can group them together within a scenario that you can then layer on top of the main grid. So you can really compare what would happen if you actually fulfill this new division that you're thinking about creating, or if you don't. And you can see that all within one place. And then the last thing that I do like to highlight here is that even though forecasting can look like a lot of numbers and can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, we also try to bring in these visual indications within the platform. So we have our business roadmap, which is going to be a visual representation of the micro forecasts that you've created. So as we can see here, we're hiring a salesperson or a couple salespeople, buying a new truck, and within the system, you're able to drag and drop these to represent different time periods and see how things change just by that one movement. So once you have your forecast all set up, you're also able to bring that into our reporting tool, which I'll touch on more towards the end. But that's one thing that we think that Fathom does really well is integrate your actuals as well as your forecast so you can see where things are and where they're going. So moving on to consolidations, we do have a consolidations part of Fathom, and it's going to work basically like any of the other companies that you bring into the system will. So if you do have multiple companies that you want to roll up into one, what you would do would be import all of those separately and then roll them up within Fathom. So here we can see that we have a few different companies all contributing to this profit and loss. So you can see the totals as well as how they're broken out by company. And with this, you are able to still view that forecast, bring this into any of our reports to be able to see those at a drill down level or at the top level. So now we are onto reporting. So we like to consider our reporting to be very fast and flexible. So you're able to create the reports that you are actually interested in and not just one of a canned report that doesn't have that editability. So we do have some templates to start from, and we typically recommend starting there because it can get a little bit overwhelming. Just with all of the different elements and trying to think of all of the things that you would want in a report. But these are some examples of some of the graphs that you're able to bring in. So these are going to be canned graphs that you just kind of click on and they'll automatically come into the system, but you're able to edit those more once they're in the actual report. So you can add additional elements, take them out, reorder things so that it looks exactly how you're wanting it to. And once you have a report that you are really settled on, you're really happy with it, you can save that as a template so that you can reuse it. And you can also schedule those out so that that report is created every month, quarter, or year so that you don't have to continually come in and change things around or create the same report every single time. So I'm going to jump into one of our reports. So this is actually one that's within our system. We have, this is a template as well. So right now we're looking at a published report within Fathom, but we also have a PDF version. So whichever works best for you. If you like your paper version, you can absolutely print it out and look at it there. But we also have an online version where even if you're not the one creating it, you can still leave comments or questions or anything like that on the actual report. So this report that we're looking at is a forecasting report. So you can see that you're able to bring in the micro forecasts at that account level, anything of the revenue forecast. We also have a cash flow analysis. So this actual graph, the actuals are going to be in the solid and then the forecast is going to be in the dots. You can see that this forecast isn't going so well, so we hope that they improve that in the future. But that really is the goal of Fathom, is to be able to see something like this and really dive in and see how you can make sure that that doesn't actually happen. So we see these sort of charts really facilitating a lot of conversations between an accountant and a client to make sure that you know could be happening and improve that for the future. Once again, just some more numbers that you're able to add in here, and these are going to be editable as well. So any financial statements that you're trying to bring in, you can add additional elements such as variance or comparisons. So thank you. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I would be happy to answer them.
Great. So thank you, Lena. We do have a couple questions and we will get to that in a second. I really enjoyed having you show this to the business owners that are out there. It's great to be able to showcase how this application is customizable. It will slice and dice information for you, for lack of a better way to say it. You said it a lot more artfully, Lena, than I am, but really we did have a session 3, which was on reporting and dashboards. And I hope you business owners out there are really seeing the power that taking an application like QBO, adding Fathom on top of it, could really get you just some valuable insight that will help you. And we do preach this a lot to our clients. If you want help setting this up, we can help you come up with the customizable aspects of this application, set things up for you, and even help you kind of analyze and understand what exactly are these charts telling me. And thank goodness they are aesthetically pleasing and helpful to look at, but it would also open up for us to have some dialogue with you and to see how we can help you continue to achieve your goals. So thank you, Lena, again, for pointing that out. We do have a couple of questions that we can address right now. One of them is for the forecasting aspect of Fathom. Are you able to forecast by job? So I know QuickBooks does allow you to track your accounting by job or by class or locations and things like that. For the budget aspect in Fathom, can you budget by job?
Unfortunately, not at this point. It's something that they've talked about. I don't know if it's even on the roadmap at this point, but it has been something that's been brought up in the past, but it's not currently possible.
And one of the good things about us working with Bill.com, QBO, and Fathom is we do have dialogue and can bring up things that clients are requesting. And because they're such innovative companies, they do listen to what you say. So please keep those questions coming. That was an excellent question. So again, thank you, Lena. And please keep bringing in your questions, attendees. We're happy to answer them. So next, I would like to introduce Lindsay Wheeler from Bill.com. And again, that's another software, like I said, that we do talk about a lot. I think it does address a lot of the concerns for streamlining, efficiency, and internal controls. And again, also just having everything in one place and not having paper all over the place. So without further ado, Lindsay, take it away.
Thanks so much. Let me pull up my slides here. And there you go. Had to drag you guys away. All right, so the same, we saved the best for last, I like to say, just joking. But not to beat a dead horse, but as Kim mentioned, Bill.com has partnerships with many organizations that I'll go through, financial institutions, but our partnership with SingerLewak is great, and it does, as Kim said, kind of move you to the head of the line and give you a little bit more of a direct access to Bill.com in the event that you need something, and you're very lucky that they know the system inside and out to help you set it up and to help make sure that you're utilizing it and it's connecting to QBO in the way it does. So to introduce myself, I didn't put another slide with my picture because my face is right here. But I'm Lindsay Wheeler. I handle the strategic accounts for Bill.com, SingerLewak being one of those. So a little bit about Bill.com. What our mission is to allow businesses to connect and make it easy to do business. And AP is the crux of that. So, even within your household, even within my household, paying like my Verizon wireless bill and actually getting that bill in front of me and logging into the system is like the worst thing I want to do. So I'm going to go through how manual it is and then how we can help automate it step by step. So traditionally, any sort of bill that you have is emailed in, mailed to you, dropped off at your office, handed to you in person, and you have to get that into some sort of system to be coded and to be approved throughout your company. So we've noticed that traditionally that's like an Excel spreadsheet, right? So you're taking all these bills, you're putting them in Excel, you're attaching it to an email, you're sending it to someone internally saying, can you review this? Can you approve it? And then you're taking that approval and you're putting it somewhere else, usually within an AP system, or maybe you're just logging into your bank and entering the payments there and paying the bills. Finally, we need to get it back into the accounting system. So we're entering all that information again. So that's 3 times of entering this data, 3 times to transpose a number, to make a mistake. And we're also opening up a little bit of liability with someone having access to our bank account to possibly make payments, and having access to our general ledger to enter that AP. What Bill.com does is it works with your general ledger software. So let's say QBO in this sense. It's also cloud-based, so it's accessible from anywhere, anytime on any device, Mac, PC, phone, Android, iPhone, whatever. And the 2 systems talk to each other. So you can have your AP processing team living in Bill.com. That information will be communicated to QBO, but you don't have to have more hands in the pot, so they say. So let's walk through what that looks like. What Bill.com does at the beginning is we automatically sync with your general ledger software. And we sync with a number of softwares. So let's say, again, in this instance, QBO, we'll pull in your chart of accounts, we'll pull in your vendors. If you're using us for AR, we'll pull in your customers. So all of those match identically. There's no duplicity of keying, there's no transposing of numbers. So all of that information is in there, and anything that's done in Bill.com is communicated with QBO and vice versa. Then we put the bills in the system, which I'll show you in a second. You can approve and view those from anywhere at any time. So there's no more having to be in the office. There's no more reviewing a spreadsheet and making sure that we don't have a version control situation. It's all updated real time within the system. And all payments are done through Bill.com. So we can pay in a myriad of ways: domestic ACH, international wires. We can pay by paper check. We have a virtual card option. So we have a lot of different ways to get paid: PayPal, however you want to pay through Bill.com. The nice thing with Bill.com, which I'll touch a little bit more in a minute, is we actually make payments off of the Bill.com account. So what that does is it eliminates the possibility of check fraud entirely, and it's limiting the number of people who have access to your account numbers. And then finally, after all of this is done in the AP, the system, and we'll run with this QBO example, automatically updates at the end of every day, and everything that was done in the AP is in QBO. There's nothing to do on your end. There's no even hitting the sync button. So all of your information that you did in Bill.com is communicated to QBO again, and vice versa. So if we take those 4 steps and kind of show you, and these are snippets of what it looks like in the system, you have your own inbox. So now you'll have your own email address for your client account. You can have vendors forward bills there. You can auto forward them there. You could also still have a stack of bills that people handed you and scan them in and drag and drop them into the system. When you go to approve it, again, you can approve it from anywhere, anytime. So here's on a mobile device, you swipe right to approve, you swipe left to deny. If you do deny it, you're going to be asked to leave a comment as to why you denied it. And then that will immediately alert whoever is processing the AP that this bill has been denied and that there's an action to be taken on that bill. And then when you hit pay, you'll select the bills you want to pay. You can do this, SingerLewak can do this for you. Whoever's paying the bills, they'll select the bills, they'll select the bank accounts that they want to pay them from, because you can have multiple accounts linked to your Bill.com account, and the payments are sent. And then again, all of that information is reconciled. It's brought over into your accounting GL. So a couple things that I wanted to highlight on what makes Bill.com different in the AP realm, and what makes us, you know, the leader and endorsed by AICPA and CPA.com and leading financial institutions. The main thing is our investment in technology. So we have a technology, we call it Inbox Virtual Assistant. Affectionately, we call it IVA. And what it does is it takes the bills and the paper that you scan in, and it starts to read it, and it starts to code it, and it starts to process it. So you can see right here, we scanned in like a pack of bills, 50 pages or something, and then our Inbox Virtual Assistant has gone and split those out and said, this is 4 different bills for you. Next, it's going to actually read the bills and start populating the things that you can see here in green that you need to process the payment. Once you code this, or once someone codes the bill to whatever GL account it's going to, or whatever location or department, the system will start to remember that, and it will associate those departments and locations with that vendor. So all we're trying to do is really bring down the amount of time that's taken on pure data entry for AP. A couple of other things that, you know, makes Bill.com a little bit different. We're obviously reducing time and labor and, you know, giving you the mobility. But the audit trail, that's a big game changer. So with Bill.com, instead of your traditional email approvals, and then if we miss a Verizon payment or a vendor didn't get paid, we're scouring emails. Now we have an audit trail with anything that's ever done within the system. It's timestamped by the person's name, the time and date that whatever was done, what action was taken, and the IP address. So we'll let you know anytime any change is done, and we can see who did what change. We also have, you know, full document management. So we will attach the source document to the actual bill that's created, and we'll push that link over to QBO so you can always see that. But we take it a step further. You can also attach contracts that are associated with that vendor to the vendor's profile. You can attach W-9s. You can tag them as 1099 contractors. So you do have flexibility in what you can keep within the system. We have no purging of data, so that will remain in the system as long as you have the Bill.com account. If you ever decide to leave Bill.com, you can back all of that up, and you can get that in a link or in a CD if you happen to have a place to put a CD into. We also give you visibility and control into who's doing what at what point in time. So there's a dashboard where you can see how long bills are in queue. So if you're waiting on someone to approve, you can push out, you know, notifications on Tuesdays that bills get paid on Fridays, so they need to be approved by Thursday, and you have that flexibility within the system, and you have better insight into your vendors. So you can see the number of vendors that you're paying via check, via ACH. You can quickly invite your vendors to be paid via ACH. Your vendors will then have visibility as part of one of the 3 million plus people we have in our network to see that you've received a bill from them, you're processing a bill from them, a payment is out to them, they'll be receiving it this day. So there's a little bit less back and forth with your AP department and your vendors as well. And then again, not to beat a dead horse, but we're really significantly reducing the risk and the liability surrounding AP because we are cutting checks off of Bill.com accounts. You do not have your account numbers exposed within the system. They're masked. They're masked to internal Bill.com employees. They're never cut to external vendors. And you don't have every single person that's involved in the AP process does not necessarily have to have authorization to pay bills within Bill.com. So you have a second level of authorization to be bank authorized to actually make payments on behalf of your business. And then finally, a couple of things, because I saw this question come up earlier, and it always comes up when we're talking about cloud software and moving away from our pen and paper and Excel spreadsheets to the cloud. Is it secure? We have a whole landing page on how secure Bill.com is, and you can request our SOC reports and read them. I'm sure it will help you sleep at night. But we have all of the reporting available to any one of our clients. But you'll know that our data you know, all of your data is encrypted on servers. As I said before, it's encrypted even to internal Bill.com employees. So no account numbers are sitting out there. All payments are made through Bill.com's account. So again, we're not floating your personal information there. We enforce positive pay on every payment that's done. We actually do the bill pay for 4 of the top 10 banks. They white label Bill.com bill pay. So, and then finally, at the bottom, we have Touch ID and passcode authentication. We also have 2-factor MFA authentication, and you can also enable dual controls on your Bill.com account so that if, you know, something was changed, a vendor was added, an address was changed, a bank account was changed, that needs to be verified by multiple people within the organization. That's about it on Bill.com. If there are any questions, I'm very, very happy to answer them.
We actually do have a couple of questions, Lindsay. Thanks.
Of course.
Can Bill.com do job costing?
No, we cannot do job costing at this point in time. You can, within Bill.com, associate bills to certain departments and locations, but we don't have any reporting off of that.
Okay, thank you. And
if I can just jump in really quick though, from the job costing question, QBO could do job costing because QBO has projects. So I would encourage you to reach out to the SingerLewak team because we can definitely provide whatever information either they can or we can have a product expert from QuickBooks help with that. So yes, you can do job costing from QBO, which would, I assume, solve the problem that you'd be asking about Fathom or Bill.com doing it. Sorry, just to
no, exactly. So it's something that's more housed in the ledger system side than directly coming over from the bill of pay side.
But it can associate with the job so that you could use it for job costing, right? So you could attach it to the customer. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can delineate line by line what's going to what job, and then all the reporting off of that would be done in QBO.
Great. One other question we had, do I have to have the same people as users in QuickBooks Online and Bill.com, or can they be separate users? And I think you guys have both addressed that a little bit. Well, you can mirror, I know there is separation.
Yep, they don't have to have, you don't have to have the same in both. You very well will have a couple that are transposed, but they very likely will be different users in both systems.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lindsay. If we have more questions, we are happy to address them. I did enjoy hearing about the safeguards that Bill.com provides to the business owner on information. I think these days that is resonating a lot with everyone listening right now. The audit trail is extremely valuable, I think, to the business owner, to your auditors. Again, they really have some good solutions on Bill.com for that. And so I think, you know, Kim touched on it in the beginning, and it's been echoed by Lena and Lindsay, is that these are wonderful virtual applications that the business owner can use. You have so much information that you probably don't even know you already have. We can all help you get that information straight to you in a meaningful and impactful way. It's easy to digest. So again, thank you so much for highlighting all of that by being present today. We do have 2 poll questions that we want to pop up on the screen right now. So if we can go ahead and get those up. So it would be, do you use the Fathom software presently? And I think it was a similar question that we asked in session 3, and the answer was no. So hopefully today, this kind of gives you some ideas, and please reach out if that's something you are looking forward to. The third and final poll for today, we can get that up. Do you use Bill.com presently? And again, something we can always talk through with you and help you out. Again, all of these softwares are extremely scalable as well. So I believe with whatever growth you have, that all 3 of these softwares would still be useful to you. We did recently implement Bill.com, in fact, with a company, it's a nonprofit that generates 50 million in contributions a year. And of that 50 million, approximately 35 million goes out via payments. So that just gives you an idea of the ability that Bill.com has to monitor that and manage that type of monetary transactions. And again, as always, security is always a factor. So with that, concludes the session for today. For more information, you can always follow us on LinkedIn. Here's our QR code. From there, you can get some interesting information on business trends. Eventually, we will post this recording as well. Please also, it's a great way to reach out to us, see what we can do to help you. Again, stay tuned for other sessions under the SL Academy that we do plan to put out to everyone, because I think that this information is very valuable to the business owners. Also, if you have any topics that you wish us to discuss, please send us an email, drop us a line saying, I would love to see a section on XYZ, and we'll see what we can do to make that happen. So we're here for you. We're here to help you be successful. So with that, thank you so much for attending our 4-part boot camp, and hope you got a lot out of it. Again, drop us a line. Thank you, Lindsay, Kim, and Lena, for taking part of your day out to help us to spread the word that we want to spread to our business owners. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.